Alright, so in this video we're going to be going over how to create forms in React. And this is obviously a skill that's pretty valuable, and most of the internet is basically just forms. So let's get into it and show you how to do this. So I just have a Create React app set up right here. If you don't know how to do that, just come over to your terminal here, cd into some sort of file, and run npx create React app, and then whatever the name of that is. So once that's done, you're gonna cd into that folder. I've opened it up in VS Code. Obviously use any text editor that you like, and we just have a blank app right now. So if we go over here, this is what we're seeing. If we run npm start, yeah, once we run npm start, that's what you'll get. So let's get into actually creating this form. So we have some stuff we don't need. Let's go into our app.js over here. We don't need this logo probably, and let's get rid of everything in here. We'll leave that app and the styling that comes with it, and we'll just go from here. So I'm going to show you how to do this two different ways, one kind of more inline and then one not in line. So let's start by just creating a little bit of structure for our form and what it'll look like. Alright, so we're going to come in here and we're going to say form. We don't need this action right now. Let's come over down here, and inside of our form we're going to have a div. Inside that div we're going to have a label, and that label is going to be what? Let's just start here. We don't need any of the extra stuff, and we're going to say we'll do like a sign up form. So we'll have an email address, email, and then below that, so we're going to have an input. Okay, that's going to be type text, sure, and then give us a little bit of space. We're going to need a few other things. We're going to have a value, and we'll just leave that blank for this second. Actually, let's just fill it in now anyways. So that's going to be type email, and this will come later when we have state. So then it's going to be a required field, so you can write the require keyword, and that will make sure that when we submit it, it has to have a value in there. And then we're going to have a on change, and that's going to be equal to, and we'll fill that in maybe after. Let's just get the structure first. So that is that. Let's come down here, and then we're going to have another field, and we're going to have a label, and we don't need that again, and we're going to call that, this will be our password field. So basically just a simple sign in form right here. And then again, another input. Type, now this has to be type password, and this will make sure that it's blanked out, so you don't actually see the password when you're typing there. And then we're gonna have a couple things in here. Type we already have. Let's go value, and value is going to be equal to password, and then we'll have an on change here as well, and we'll fill that in a second also. And then the last thing that we need, actually let's wrap that in a div also. And then we come down, bring that down here, and that'll just format it a little bit better for us. And then the last thing we're gonna need is a button, and that's gonna have a type of submit. Oh, so it's just in quotes, and we'll just say sign in. Okay, so it looks like we got a few errors here. Let's see what we got. Oh, it's because of the on change. That's okay, we haven't filled that in yet. Okay, so now we want to make this stateful, so we're going to come up to the top here, and we got to bring in some state. So we're gonna go React use state, boom. And then we're gonna come down here and we're gonna incorporate some state into here. So let's go and go const and brackets email and then set email. And this is how you do state with React hooks. If you're not familiar with hooks, I do have a video on that, so you can go back and check that out if you want. And then we're going to go equal use state, and we're just going to set that to an empty string. And then we also have this, we'll just copy this down, and then we have it for password as well. And set password. Okay, so now we have some state going here. So let's come down and we are gonna do, we're gonna use our, we gotta set our on change here. So let's come in here and we're gonna do it all in line this first time, and then we'll show you how to not do it in line. So the event, and then we're gonna set the email, and we're gonna set that to e.target.value. And then we can basically do the same thing, come down to the on change down here, and we're gonna do the same arrow function and set password. And we're gonna set that to e.target.value again. Okay, so that should clear up. Yep, no issues there. So let's come back over and take a look at just what this looks like. So, very pretty. We got our email. We can type in here. We got our password, and you can see it blanks out because we set that to type password, and both those fields are required. Now we just want to make sure the state is working too. So let's come down here below the form. So let's just come down here and go email, and we'll go password, and hopefully this will show us our state. So come back over here. Our email is test.com, and password is password. So those are showing up good. The state is working perfect. Now let's come back here, and we can actually, we can leave that for now. Okay, now in order to actually submit a form, we're gonna have to come back up to this form here, give ourselves a little room here, and we're gonna do an on submit. And that is gonna be equal to, again, the event, and we'll create a little function in line here, and we're gonna go e.prevent default, and we're gonna call that, and I'll show you what that does in a second. And then just to show that this works, let's do an alert, and we'll go form submitted. Okay, that's not how you spell submitted. Submitted, perfect. Okay, so now hopefully this is gonna show an alert once we submit the form. And usually that'll be like a back end. Obviously you'll send the request to or something, but we're just trying to show right now how that works. So again, test.com, password, okay, and if we sign in, boom. So that's basically how you code up a form in React. Now there's another way that we can also do, the e.prevent default. So as you can see, when we sign in, the page does not refresh, and that is because we have set this to e.prevent default. So say we take that away, and just run a regular function here. Now when we go back here, and we do password, and we sign in, you can see there's a refresh that happens up there. So that's the behavior that we're trying to avoid. Okay, so that's that. Let's come back here. Now we're going to change a couple things here. the first thing we want to do is we're going to change, we have separate use state calls for the password and the email. So we're going to put that into an object instead. So let's come up here, because it's just another way you can do it. You don't have to do it one way or the other. So it's kind of preference. So we'll go const, and we'll call it what? Sign in form, and set sign in form. And this is the typical way you'll write something. So you'll have the call and then set, whatever that is. And then we'll go use state, and then this is where we'll set an object instead of individual calls. So, and we'll have email, and that's going to be a blank string, and then comma password. And then again, that'll be a blank string. Okay, so we can save that. Let's come down a little bit. And what we want to do here is we're going to have, instead of doing it inline here, we're going to change this on change to, we will change it to a call that will create a function. We're just going to have this called handle change. Okay, and then we can do actually the exact same call down here for this on change. So come up here and we'll go on change. Change equals handle change. Okay, so that's good. We still have the type submit. Everything there is going to be the same basically. Oh, the last thing we actually need to add to is going to be a name, so we can identify the various inputs. So that name's just going to be, the first one will be email. Come down here, and the second one will be name is equal to password. Okay. So that's good. Let's come back up, and we're going to run our function right here. So we've called this handle change. So we go const handle change, and then we're again get the E for the event, and then we're going to go set, what do we call it? Set sign in form. And we will create our object here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to spread in the current sign-in form. So this ... is the spread notation, and that's basically going to clone what the current sign-in form is. And then we're going to go e.target.name, and then we're going to go e.target.value. So that's going to take whatever input we're in, the name of that, and then we're going to add the value onto that. Okay, and then that should be, I think that should be it. Looks like got an error here. Email, oh, for our values, we forgot to change our values. So the value is going to be, instead of email, because we've changed this to a sign-in form, so we have to go sign-in form.email rather. So let's come back down here, and we will go sign-in form.email, and then same with password. We'll go to the value here and go sign-in form.password, and we'll come back and see if we have an error again. Let's see what we got here. Email and password 43 and 40. Oh, we're calling this still. We can get rid of that. We don't need that. And that looks like it should work. So let's come back over and check it out. So now we have test.com, and we have password. And again, the form's submitted, and that works. So those are the two different ways that you can do forms in React. Well, I'm sure there's other ways too, but those are two that will work. Pretty simple with hooks. Hooks makes it pretty straightforward and just not a lot of code really. And this is from scratch. There's other libraries you can use. Formic is a pretty popular one that handle a few other things. But I think this should get you started and hopefully made it somewhat understandable how to do a form in React. All right, well, if you like the video, go ahead and hit subscribe or like, and otherwise I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.